Good afternoon, guys. When we really become aware of just how powerful we are in our thoughts, our choices, and our actions, and when we understand that we are meant to serve more than just ourselves, we become extremely powerful and effective in all our relationships. And relationships are the things that will determine our emotional well being, even our physical well being, because we're all so connected. So when we go on this path to understand and live a life that is more than just for ourselves, we start to really become more and more humble and reverent to the fact that we are so important to each other. But then we start to realize just the pure joy of just being our best selves and developing ourselves with that purpose. So we have to show that determination each and every choice we make. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
There's nothing worse than you can tell someone who's young than that, especially if they're miserable.
That's how you create your standards.
So your goal is to make today some tiny increment better than yesterday.
Rise and shine, it's espresso time. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I am not a morning person. But when you start your day with a powerful routine that inspires you, like watching one of these videos, it can change your life. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee, know that I believe in you, and get ready for a shot of espresso from Jordan Peterson.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
I would say for the last 45 years, we've told psychologists have been certainly to blame for this, at least in part. You're okay the way you are. That's what we tell young people. Oh, you're okay the way you are. It's like, and there's nothing worse than you can tell someone who's young than that, especially if they're miserable. And lots of them, well, if they're miserable and aimless, it's like, oh, I'm miserable and aimless, and sometimes I'm suicidal and I'm nihilistic and I don't have any direction in your life. In my life. It's like, well, you're okay the way you are. And it's like, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear, look, and you know this, you're useless. You know nothing. You haven't got started. You've got 60 years to put yourself together, and God only knows what you could become. And that message is so much more, it's so funny because it's such an attack, but it's so positive because there's faith there in the potential that makes up the person rather than the miserable actuality that happens to be manifesting itself at the moment. And young people respond extraordinarily well to that because, and you know that if you're a parent and you love your child, your son, your daughter, what you're trying to foster is the best in them. You want that to manifest itself across the course of their life. You want them to become continually more than they are, to see what they could be. And I think that's part of the great message of the West, is that's the ethical requirement of individual being in the proper sense, is to constantly note that you're not what you could be, to take responsibility for that, and to commit yourself, like body and soul, to the attainment of that ideal.
Some days you need a push, and some days you need a hug. Some days you need to be told that you're not doing enough, that your standards are too low, that you're capable of more, that you're not pushing hard enough, that you should be doing more with your life. Some days you really need that message. And some days you need to be told that everything's going to be okay, that you did the best you could with what you had, that it's okay to relax and to break, and that you need it. And I think the challenge is understanding when you need which message. I think when you try to apply the same message to everyone, you lose. You've known it. There's times where the message that you need, if you give the exact same message to somebody else, they're not going to respond very well. How many times have you tried to change the life of somebody around you? How many times have you grown, learned, improved, developed, gotten better, and then tried to give that to your friends or family, and the reaction is very different than yours, right? Exact same message, different person, different reaction. You'll also see that for you as a human, there are some days where you need a different message, that the same message on different days impacts you differently. That one day you wake up and you really feel the pain of the struggle of where you're at, and you really want to make a change, and you know that now is the time, and you need that hard push and that hard message, and it resonates with you. But then the next day you get the exact same message, doesn't resonate anymore. You felt that? That's the challenge that we face in trying to apply these blanket rules. Is that, okay, here's what you need. Well, no. It depends on who you are and where you're at. And the two key things to think about are, as a human, where are you at? In the bigger picture, how much of a growth curve are you on right now? Because most people hate their life. Most people wake up and they're barely hanging on. Look at the people in this parking lot here. I guess you can't see anybody here. The people here, most people are not happy. Most of the people that you walk next to on the street, they're not happy. They might be posting all these highlight moments on Instagram and pretending to be living these fake lives, but they're not happy. Most people are not happy. And a lot of times the last thing that they need is a giant push, because they won't hear it. Do they need it? Of course. Will they listen to it? Absolutely not. If you look at my website, I changed it up to try to target the haters, to try to target the hopeless, to try to make people feel like where you are at right now is not where you will ultimately be. You can change. If you surround yourself with the right people and you get the right strategies and the right role models, you can change. But in order for people to feel like that's possible, you have to allow themselves to deburden themselves of all the mistakes they feel they've made. One of the biggest challenges why people don't make growth. Why can you not influence your friends? Why can you not influence your family to make an improvement in their life? Why? Have you thought about that? Like, you've grown, you've learned, you watch these videos, you're way better than you were 5 years ago, you've learned and grown so much. How come you can't influence your family? You want to, you love them. Why? Why is it not happening? Because the size of the step is what we're judging. You want them to get up here. You know they could be up here. You see the clear vision for them being up here. They don't see that for them. They see themselves way down here. They don't think that that leap is possible. And what they see as your advice, you see it as love, they see it as judgment. What you see as love, caring, positivity, optimism, encouragement, they see as judgment. They see as them not being good enough. They see as you judging them and them judging themselves. And they'd rather not do it, so they'd rather stay where they are. And so what do they need? They don't need a strong push. They need a hug. They need to allow themselves to be unburdened from the mistakes of the past. They need to hear that it's not their fault. This is a really tricky thing for achievers. We have to draw the line between achievers, growth mindset, people who are learning, growing, improving, getting better. You, if you're watching this video, how many people do you know who would never watch any of these videos? Look at the people who are growth mindset. When I hear something like it's not your fault, I react, no, of course it's my fault. It's my fault. I need to go and fix it. I need to change it. I need to get better. If I'm here, it's because of me and what I've done. That's the achiever mindset. But most people who aren't achievers yet, they associate that with just feeling like garbage. They need to be told that it's not their fault. The way that I've worked it out in my mind is, it's not my fault, it's not your fault, but it's still your responsibility. And so to help somebody get out of that hole, they need to feel like it's not their fault. They need to be they're just carrying too much weight. You're telling somebody they can go sprint and they can be fast, they can have freedom, and they can create the life that they want, and they feel like they have the weight of the world on their shoulder. They can't even see themselves walking a step, let alone winning some race or sprinting. So they need to be told that it's not their fault. They need to be told that they did the best they could with what they had at the time. And where they're at right now doesn't have to be where they end up. You need to not overjudge the next step. Because for them, even just telling somebody about their problems is a giant step forward. Even just having a conversation with you is a giant step forward. You think of it as nothing, like that's easy. What are you talking about? Even them just watching one video is a giant step forward. And so some days you need to hug, and some days you need to push. So how do we figure out which one? Well, step one is just look at yourself. Don't worry about changing other people yet. Worry about yourself. Change yourself. Improve yourself before we're worried about fixing the problems of the people around us. You've got a lot of problems yourself, right? How about we fix those first? Work on improving yourself. Think about, what do you need today? Do an honest assessment right now. What do you need today? What do you need today? Do you need more of a push? Or do you need more of a hug? Do you need to be told your standards are too low, you're capable of more, you should be doing more? Or do you need to be told it's okay to rest right now? You're breaking yourself. Like, which one do you need? I would push you towards saying you need more of the push than the hug. In general. If I look at my own life, I want to be, 85, 90% push. Push, push, push. I can do more. I'm capable of more. But there are some times where the push is too much. And that's where you need to slow down. I was coming here, my wife is doing an acupuncture appointment. We just got back from our vacation, and I'm a little jet lagged, and we woke up early to come here, and my wife Nina said, just go sleep. Sleep in, I'll come back and pick you up, and then I've got a couple other errands to run. I usually making videos while I'm running errands. I'll come pick you up after my acupuncture. And I said, no. Not no, angrily at her, but at myself. Like, no, I need to wake up. I need to go make videos. I don't want to wait 2 hours, 3 hours for you to get back and do this. I want to get up and show myself that I do difficult things. Now, if I was totally sick, if I had COVID, if I was, was dead on the floor, then okay, maybe now I need to relax and rest. But what am I dealing with? Just a little bit of jet lag. I'm fine. I can do this. And that's an inspiring message for achievers. That's an inspiring message for me. It's like, I want to show myself that I'm capable of doing this. So where are you at right now? What do you need right now? What do you need today? Do you need the love, the hug, or do you need the push? It's actually all love. The push is love too, just a different form. But do you need the hug, or do you need the push? Number 2, move the brake line forward. What did I do this morning when I didn't sleep in? I moved the brake line forward. Is it okay to sleep in? Sure. Would I still make the videos? Yes. Is it understandable that I have jet lag and maybe need some extra rest? Yes. It's easy to let myself off the hook. I want to move the brake line forward. And the brake line is, where do you say I need a break? And at some point you will need a break, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with braking, but move it a little bit forward. Where did you break yesterday or last week or last year? And how can you just go a little bit more, a little bit further, a little bit harder? Move the brake line forward. Where would you have given up last week? But today you're not going to. Today you're going to do one extra set, one extra call, one extra video. Move the brake line forward. Just do one more. You can do one more. I'm not asking you to do 100 more. Don't make 100 more videos. Just make one more video from where you were last week. Teach yourself to move the brake line forward. That's how you create your standards. How do you raise your standards? Is by doing one more when you don't think that you can. It's by doing one extra when you're tired. One extra compared to what you did last week. That's how you start to shift your identity to be the person who follows through and raise your standards. And then step number 3 is to be around the people who are doing the thing that you want to do. It's why I make these videos every morning. Because I need them for myself. Because I want to be around Jordan Peterson every day. I want to be around Elon Musk every day. I want to be around Oprah Winfrey every day. I want to be around these people every day, because by being around them, it forces me to be better. They become the push for me. My channels become the push for me. Every time I watch a Jordan Peterson video, Elon Musk video, Oprah Winfrey video makes you want to do more. Because it's easy to stay where you are. The enemy of great is good. If your life sucked right now, if something was really, really, really bad, have you ever overeaten, gone crazy on vacation? I ate a lot on vacation, come home, I'm doing a fast. You know, I got to get back down. I got to start to feel healthy again. Got to stop breaking out from all the sugar. You know, I gotta, this is not who I am, right? Have you ever had those moments? So I'm in the middle of a fast right now. I haven't eaten since, what is it, it's Tuesday. I'm trying to look at my watch, it's not my watch. I haven't eaten in 30 something hours right now. Just black coffee, water, salt. When you go crazy in one direction, you want to come back to where you are. So who are the people? What are the resources? What's the environment you need to create for yourself? Whether it's videos, books, podcasts, groups, communities, like movement makers that you can join and be a part of. Who are the people that inspire you to do better? Because your life right now is good. It's good. It's good. And if you compare yourself to the people around you, it's probably great. Your life compared to the people around you who you went to school with, who you're hanging out with, is probably great. And that's great from a gratitude perspective, but you're capable of so much more. It's not a great life anymore. There's a new standard for what a great life could be. From the things that you could do, from the project you could create, there's so much more that you're capable of. It's possible. You know it's possible. Who's given you that loving push forward? Probably nobody. So that's why you've got videos like this. You've got communities like Movement Makers. You've got the podcasts and books that you can consume, but you have to make it a part of your daily routine. Some days you need a push. Most days, if you're watching this video, you need a push. You need a push to do more and be better. But some days you need a hug. Some days you need to know that you did the best you could with what you had. And that's okay too. Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? The science says that when you just watch a video, you get motivated, you get inspired, you have a 35% chance of following through on your goals. 35%! That's not enough. That's not enough just to get motivated. Believe Nation, we're here. You're here. Today matters. You're an action taker. When you commit to a plan of action, of when and how you're going to follow through. When you write it down, you have a 91% chance of following through. And when you commit publicly to somebody else, it jumps to 95% chance. From 30-something% to 95% chance of you following through. Believe Nation, we need to make this happen. So question of the day, your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action specific for the next week. Put it down in the comments below, and I'm going to show on screen sometime next week to celebrate you.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for the habit to stick. That's what I want for you. So I've designed a custom free program where I'm going to send you an unlisted video for the next 254 days to shift confidence and belief forward. The link to join is in the description below.
If you're going to speak effectively, you have to know way more than you're talking about.
Well, you have to treat yourself like you matter. Because if you don't, then you don't take care of yourself and you become vengeful. Oh no, you're okay. You should feel good about yourself. Like, you're fine the way you are. It's like you think, well, that's a calming message for people. I've had clients, many clients in
Ya tú sabes, adivina quiénes somos. Profesor, su zumba. Anda por la disco y se suelta el pelo. Baila mucho zumba, sé que tiene fuego. De repente ya se enciende y comienza a moverse muy ardiente y toda la disco se prende. Inocente pensará que no la mira, pero sabe en el fondo que es mentira. Con ese cuerpo de sirena moviendo todo el entera toda la noche bailando sin pena. manos para arriba, duro, duro, muévelo, duro, duro, muévelo, arriba, para arriba, las manos para arriba, duro, duro, muévelo, duro, duro, muévelo, arriba, para arriba, las manos para arriba, duro, duro, muévelo, duro, duro, fuego, fuego que tiene fuego, fuego, fuego que empieza el fuego, fuego, fuego que tiene fuego, fuego, fuego que empieza el fuego. Move your body, muévelo. Everybody, muévelo. Muévelo, muévelo. Move it, mami, move, move, move. Muévelo, muévelo. Move it, mami, move, move, move. Recorriendo el mundo entero. Around the world. Zumba. Muévelo, muévelo, muévelo. Muévelo, muévelo, muévelo.
Feel the power of you controlling your breathing right now. Feel the power of you enjoying your greatest gift right now. That's you. That's your presence. That's your greatest power. Your power to determine to stay in the present, in the now, and be your true great being that you are. No matter what. In this present moment, everything is here you need right now. So let's see ourselves today doing the best we can in the gym of life. Here we are again. Controlling our minds. Controlling our breathing. One great thought at a time. One great breath at a time. So see yourself doing your best on all the exercises we do today together, here and now. That's your determination, your greatest power, power that's the same in you and every human being on the planet. Good morning, determination. How's everyone doing today? What a day again. Great day. Here we are. May not like exactly all the conditions that are going on right now, but we are here right now, together, working on our minds and working on our bodies. So here we go. When I say go, we're going to start doing our best jog on the spot, or you can go back and forth if you want to just walk. Remember to keep in mind the safety of the space you are working with. Always keep that in mind. Here we go. When I say go, we're going to do our best jog ever. But you got to see it in your mind first. That's where everything begins, in your mind. But to be your true great self, you also sometimes have to get out of your mind just to be you. Just to be. Here we go. Jogging on the spot. Again, feel the control of you. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. You always have that power to determine, to take control of your breathing, your mind, and your body. That's what keeps us here and now, in the present. The greatest gift we all have always. Almost there. Keep going. Determination. Keep going. All right. And let's walk it out. Back and forth. Or just walk on the spot if that's all the space you have. All right, everyone. Let's start off with our shoulder rolls. Here we go. 10 shoulder rolls forward. So the power of all of us right now, watching this, working together on one thing. No matter what's going on, we can stay in the present, right here, right now. And backwards. Let's do arm circles forward. Here we go, arm circles forward. 10 forward, then we'll go 10 backwards. Then feel the power of you enjoying moving your body, being free to move through space. And backwards. Okay, here we go. Now let's do hands on our hips, bend your knees, and side stretch. All right, and let's twist our body now. So 5 on each side. Keep your feet flat on the floor. All right, excellent. Okay, let's do 5 push-ups together. Our best 5 push-ups. Here we go. If you gotta keep your knees down on the ground, that's fine. Let's do the best we can. All right, let's do 5 sit-ups. All right, and standing up. And let's do 5 squats. Our best 5 squats ever. Excellent. Let's do lunges, 3 on each side. Arms up. Excellent. All right. And 10-second plank. Bring these knees off the ground. Hold it there for 10. Good work, everyone, and stand up and reach for the sky or the ceiling on your toes, depending on where you are. feel the joy of reaching. If you lose your balance, get back up again. Never give up, no matter what. All right, now let's reach for our toes, straight knees. Again, feel the joy of the process of you reaching. Trying to go a little bit further than last time without hurting yourself. You know the truth about you and how much you can do. Right here, right now. Okay, and come on up again. Let's balance, grab one leg. Find that balance. Again, if you have to imagine yourself with roots underneath your feet that have grown through the ground fully, deep into the earth, do that. If that helps you. And switch. Notice the power of all of us right now. Controlling our minds, to control our bodies, to control our breathing, and to control our balance. Alright, and now let's hug our knee. Here we go. Bend the other one if you have to. Find that balance point and pull the knee up. Hug your knee, give it a good hug. And switch the other one. Feel the joy of you finding your balance in this moment right now. It's the same way you can do it in anything in life. Alright, okay, and let's sit down and reach for our toes, straight knees. Here we go. And feel the gift of you. Trying to be your best. The best you. Not your best compared to others, just your best. Right, V shape with our legs, and let's reach for the floor as far away from our body as we can. Again, enjoy the process, enjoy the reaching. You'll never get to an end. There is no end point. You are infinite. Reach for one to the other side. Give me three. We gotta learn to love the process of everything we're doing. That's what will always keep us mind healthy, and more importantly, mind wealthy. And switch. Mind wealthy meaning that we choose courage, we choose determination over fear, over giving up. Okay, and let's bring our feet together and gently push our knees down with our elbows. Hold it there for 10 seconds. Always remember your breathing. And one leg forward, one leg back. Go as far back as you can. Keep that knee down. Just feel the power, the joy of this moment right now. This is how we win. One moment at a time. And switch. Always win if we control our minds. We don't let our minds control us. It's not the way it's supposed to be. We are infinitely intelligent. We control our minds. Alright, and let's roll onto our bellies. Push the floor and look up at the ceiling. Or the sky, wherever you are. Ready? Here we go. Okay, and legs crossed again, back straight, eyes closed. Breathing in through our nose, out through our mouth. Feeling the joy in every breath. Now, let's see in our mind today the vision we want to create for our best exercises. For me today, I'm going to see myself doing my best on each of the 2 songs I choose on one exercise each. So I'm going to see in my mind myself holding the lunge position for each leg as long as possible, hopefully for the duration of the first song. And then for the second song, I'm going to see myself holding a V sit-up position as long as I can. You don't have to choose those exercises. You may if you want, but you can see in your mind right now whatever exercise you love doing, as long as you're doing it safely. You can dance, you can jump, you can do jumping jacks, lunges, squats, whatever your heart desires right now. As long as you stay safe. You know how to stay safe. You're made of rules, truth, principles that are designed to keep you safe, happy, successful, and free and peaceful all the time. It's a matter of want. You gotta want to be safe, healthy, and happy. You gotta want it so bad, as bad as you want it. Alright everybody, here I go. My best to hold the lunge position on each leg. What about you? What are you going to do? Whatever you do, remember, your happiness is dependent on you doing your best on whatever it is you're doing. So here we go. Sometimes I'll keep my arms out like this too. Sometimes I'll put them out this way. Sometimes I'll bring them up. Slowly bring them back down. Just enjoying the pleasure of my body. This is pure happiness for me. Working on my mind and body all at once. And I want it for you. I want you to know that the way you do this, the way you control your mind to do this, is the way you can do anything. Remember, our body has limits that we have yet to discover, but our mind is unlimited. More importantly, you control your mind, which makes you infinitely intelligent. Happiness is the truth. Thank you. Hallelujah. Thank you. Thank you, infinite intelligence. See that space between what you choose to do when that pain, discomfort sets in. What you choose to do. That's the foundation. Get a leg now. Shake off that burn. Fully enjoying the moment right now. Your happiness is always up to you. Clap along. You're enjoying your exercise right now, wherever you go. My legs are shaking. I'm uncomfortable. I get to choose what's next. I'm proud of my effort. Proud of my determination. I hope you are too, wherever you are. We still got more. Yeah, keep going. Here we go. Let's go. Determination. Let's go. Keep going wherever you are until the song's over. Or if you got your own song on, keep going, keep going. Love your effort, love your process right now. All right, next one for me is holding my feet sit-up position. Even if I let go, I'm gonna get back up. So the full duration of the song. Whatever you're doing, enjoy it fully. Follow your heart and soul. Here we go. Nobody can break your stride. Keep going. You can get back up. Keep going and getting better all the time. Even if your body slows you down. Remember those limits. We're always discovering. Always. Sometimes I'll change my arm position just to keep my balance. Process is just constantly pushing a little bit more. Do it again. Song's still going. We got music in us. Bring out our music over here. Keep pushing. Keep striving. Keep going to find and be your true great self force. Your power of determination. No matter what. Destined to bring yourself up. Awesome. Proud of the effort. Hope you are too. Here we go. Quote unquote, we never really end. We now focus on our breathing. Back straight, eyes closed, legs crossed. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Feel that power that you're using to control your breathing. Your connection to oneness, to what we all really are, to the truth. The ultimate truth. That you were born to win control over your mind. That when we all do that, we find out the truth of who we all really are. Infinitely intelligent beings, powerful beyond measure. power of all knowing right here, right now, this moment. You're already made of all knowing of the universe. You're made of that same stuff. With that, you can always have and be your true, peaceful, happy, kind, loving self. No matter what. As you reflect back on your effort today, always remember that if you gave your best in whatever you were doing, you can do it now, you can do it forever. That's what makes you a winner. Born to be happy, peaceful, to be mind healthy and wealthy, always. No matter what's going on outside your mind, no matter what anybody or anything suggests about you, any negativity, that's all a lie. It's all losses. Losses that we, as determination, we get to transform to win, to truth, to accuracy of who we really are. And that's why I love you and everybody in this universe. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great week. Enjoy every moment. You're the greatest gift ever. Love you all so much. Take care.
Welcome to Best Life 30, your 30-day journey to creating the best life possible for yourself. You can just watch this video, or if you want to sign up for the whole series and get the free.
Hello everybody, Anton Crowley here from dropshiplifestyle.com. And before you click the skip ad button and move
free bonus companion worksheets that go with this video, check the link in the description below. All right, today is day 14, and we're gonna learn how you can overcome failure.
You cannot invent and pioneer if you cannot accept failure. To invent, you need to experiment. And if you know in advance that it's going to work, it is not an experiment. And so that's a very important thing. They are inseparable twins, failure and invention. And so you have to be willing to do that. And it's embarrassing to fail. It's always embarrassing to fail, but you have to say, no, that's not how this works. If I said to you, you have a 10% chance with a particular decision, a 10% chance of a 100x return, you should take that bet every time, but you're still gonna be wrong 9 out of 10 times, and it's gonna feel bad 9 out of 10 times. And with technology, the outcomes, the results can be very long-tailed. The payoff can be very asymmetric, which is why you should do so much experimentation. Everybody knows that if you swing for the fences, you hit more home runs, but you also strike out more. But with the baseball, that analogy doesn't go far enough, because with baseball, no matter how well you connect with the ball, you can only get 4 runs. The success is capped at 4 runs. But in business, every once in a while, you step up to the plate and you hit the ball so hard, you get 1,000 runs. And so when you have that kind of asymmetric payoff, and one at bat can get you 1,000 runs, it encourages you to experiment more. It's the right business decision to experiment more. It's also better for your customers. Customers like the successful experiments.
Failure is part of life. I mean, the difference for me though is I look at failure as a stepping stone to success. It's a speed bump. I know I'm going to fail, but it's not failure if you learn something. And so, gosh, I've made so many mistakes. I've screwed so many things up, but every time I do, it becomes a way for me to explain to someone else what it takes. It's like, here's what I've done. I think I have the ability to influence people because I talk about my failures. I talk about all the things that mess me up, but I show people that I didn't let it stop me, and you don't let it stop you. And I think that's really the secret in that area.
And if everything you touch was successful, you probably won't be able to relate to people as much.
No, you'll be relate, and also it's be total bullshit, and everyone knows it's bullshit. And also you'd be bored silly. I mean, think about it. If you just said, I want this and it happened, I want this and it happened, you know, people don't value what they don't fight for. You know, it's like you see kids sometimes in it, you know, your parents will say, you're not going to value this if you don't work for it. And your kid going, I'll value it, just give it to me, right? But it's true. You know, the things we've worked the hardest for, we value the most. So I think, you know, the purpose of a goal is not getting it anyway. The purpose of a goal, you know, is who you become. Who you become is going to make you happy or it's going to make you sad. So I'm not looking for an effortless approach. There's no such thing.
What was your biggest failure and how did it change you?
I have to really think hard about that. Failure. Never heard of it.
There's your answer.
Well, there's a ton of failures along the way, that's for sure. Like I said, as I said, for SpaceX, the first 3 launches failed. And we're just barely able to scrape together enough parts and money to do the 4th launch. If that 4th launch had failed, we would have been dead. So multiple failures along the way. I tried very hard to get the right expertise in for SpaceX. I tried hard to find a great chief engineer for the rocket, but the good chief engineers wouldn't join, and the bad ones, well, there was no point in hiring them. So I ended up being chief engineer of the rocket. So if I could have found somebody better, then we would have maybe had less than 3 failures.
How do you turn failure into a plus? And it's true, when I was at the University of Nebraska, one day I was reading the Daily Nebraskan, and it said in room 300 or something, at 3 o'clock there will be this panel of 3 professors here at the university, and they're going to award the Nathan Gold Scholarship. I don't know whether you still have that around? And at the time, it said it would give you $500 to go to the graduate school of your choice. I don't know whether it's changed in amount, but that was it. So I read this, and I went there to this room at 3 o'clock that day, or whatever it was, and I walked in the room, and there were the professors, and I was the only student that showed up. I mean, it really got to them. I mean, they were stuck. They kept waiting and looking at their watch and hoping there'd be more candidates, but no one came in. So I won $500 by default. And those are usually my biggest triumphs when nobody else shows up. And so here I was. I had $500 to go toward it wasn't limited as any graduate school for a master's degree. So I applied to Harvard. My dad wanted me to. And I shortly heard from Harvard, and they said, go to Chicago and meet this fellow running who interviews applicants from the Midwest. So I got on the train, and that's what you did in those days, and I spent 10 hours on the Burlington going to Chicago. Then I transferred to another little interurban train to go up to this country day school where this fellow was the headmaster, and he was the big interviewer for Harvard. And I got there, and after about 10 minutes, he said, better think about something else. He come back later on. I was 19 at the time, and I looked about 12, and I acted about 8. So it was not a great combination. So he said, forget it. So I took the little interurban train back to Chicago, and I took the 10-hour train back to Omaha, and all the time I'm thinking, what do I tell my parents? It's kind of embarrassing. But it was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. Because if I'd gone to Harvard, I would have gone to a 2-year business school. I instead applied to Columbia, where I could graduate in 1 year and get a master's degree. Luckily, that by the accident of it and being in the Nebraska National Guard, which did not get called up for the Korean War, I missed going in the Korean War. I got to meet Ben Graham, which had an enormous effect on me subsequently. And I probably got my wife that way because she was going to Northwestern. And I was able to put on sort of a full court press because I got out in 1 year. And otherwise, she'd have met some other guy. I mean, I got her before the competition showed up. And so it worked out wonderfully. It couldn't have worked out better. And that's been my life, basically. I mean, things, you will get some disappointments, but the future is what counts. It'd be fun if I knew every decision I was going to make was going to be perfect, it would not be as much fun. It'd be like playing golf and knowing you're going to hit a hole-in-one on every hole. You wouldn't play golf if every time you got on a tee, you just took a swing and the ball ended up in the hole. You know, it'd be fun for a few days. You get on TV, but the game would not be any fun. So it's failure. You know, and I wouldn't even consider them failures, but they're mistakes or whatever you want to call it. They're part of the game, and in the end, you know, you go on, and we've made plenty of mistakes in business. We'll make plenty more, and the Babe Ruth, and you know, for a long time, it subsequently got eclipsed by a few fellows, but he held the record for strikeouts. You know, so held the record for home runs and was the highest paid baseball player until the modern era came along. So it's part of the game. If you take big swings, you know, you're going to miss sometimes.
Most people who are failing are trying their ass off.
Yep.
Most people who are failing are being criticized by people who haven't attempted what you're even trying to fail at. So what I'm failing at, so after I did 2,500 pull-ups my first time going for the record.
Yep.
You know how many people were criticizing me?
People sitting there eating chips on the couch.
Can't even do a pull-up.
Exactly.
Look at your audience who's criticizing you, first of all.
Yep.
They're not even in your world.
Yes.
You don't even talk to me.
Yep.
Block them out. That's the first thing.
Yep.
The second thing is, through failure, you get all the answers.
You get all the lessons.
All of them.
Yes.
They're all there.
Yes.
So I was able to go back through and say, okay, this happened, this was wrong, this was wrong, this is wrong. So I don't even look at failure like, I don't even call it failure.
Yeah.
I don't, because I don't look at it like, oh my God, I failed. No, I look at, okay, like trying to invent the light bulb. I'm afraid to know what's failure. I'm trying to invent a light bulb.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break 4,020 pull-ups. That's failure?
Yeah.
Anything you do along that way is amazing.
Growing up, my dad used to encourage my brother and me to fail. So at the dinner table, he would actually ask us, what did you fail at this week? And if we didn't have something to tell him, he would actually be disappointed. And I can remember coming home from school and being like, Dad, I tried out for this and I was horrible. And he'd be like, way to go, and high-five me. And it was such a gift what he was doing. I didn't realize it at the time, but he was redefining failure for me. And so failure became not about the outcome, but about not trying. And so, you know, the fear of failure, as we all know as entrepreneurs, is one of the greatest fears in life. It's one of the things that stops us in our tracks and keeps us from trying something. And so I incorporate that in my philosophy at Spanx. We celebrate failures, we talk about them. We have oops meetings where I'll announce the oops that I have, and sometimes we have fun with it. We'll even attach theme songs to our oops and we'll play them in front of the whole company. But I think it's just so important to try to get the people that you work with to take risks and to be entrepreneurial and not live in a place of, I want to protect my job and feel like I'm not safe if I make mistakes.
Tell us about failure and why it's important to fail.
I love it.
Yeah, because you've mentioned you love it.
I love it. I like micro failure. I hate macro failure. Like, death of your business is bad. But to me, you know what's funny? I'll use a boxing analogy. My favorite boxing, I watch a lot of boxing. I think boxing is a very interesting, and I'm super into mixed martial arts, but I grew up on boxing. I understand it better. And I like watching it because there's so many things that happen in boxing. First of all, what I love about boxing is there's nowhere to hide. You know, like, it's super interesting, right? There's nowhere to hide. Number two, there's a scenario in boxing that I love the most. For some reason, there's nothing more interesting to me than watching somebody get knocked down in the first round and then go on to win the fight easily. It's an interesting psyche, right? And I like that, and this is what I'm thinking about it, which is like, here's what's bad in boxing and in business. Going into a fight, getting knocked the f*** out in the first round and losing the match. Bad. Getting knocked down and then having the adversity to readjust to what you got caught on and navigating it to easily win a fight is remarkable. That's how I think about entrepreneurship. The reason so many people struggle with entrepreneurship is you have micro failures almost daily, and they're very in your face. You can't hide. And I like that. I like failure because I think I deserve it. I hate when people don't respect the game. When I fail, it means I f***ed up. And I like that because I think people get audacious. My number one thing that I hate about capitalism is that people use it and they love it and they're big capitalists and they love open market and competition and all that. And then they become 73 and they try to use all their money to protect their money. They're not willing to let a young lion eat them the way they ate somebody else. I hate when they try to manipulate it. That's what I love about sports. What I love about sports is when you're 36 and you were once the best player in the league, but now you're getting a little bit older and your body breaks down, you are forced to retire. The one thing that entrepreneurship and capitalism has to adjust to is once you get old and you're tired and you want to be on a yacht instead of working your shit, you should lose some money because you're losing.
When you think about your risk tolerance for failure, how far are you willing to fail?
Well, I mean, unfortunately and fortunately, I failed quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, but I understand that's actually part of the process of succeeding. I'm not one that really believe in failure. I believe you have setbacks. And, you know, you have to learn from those. You have to learn what are those landmines that can be avoided the next time. What are those pitfalls? And you have to learn from that stuff. And so, you know, I welcome those things. It's a part of life.
But are you prepared to like really fail at something totally new? Like, what if you're just a shitty VC?
Then I'm a shitty VC,
Yeah.
you know, and then I work at it, and then I'm not a shitty VC the next year, or, you know, whenever it happens. You know? Listen, my first year in the league on national TV, 18 years old, and I shot 5 straight air balls in the playoffs in front of millions of people.
Yeah.
I think my tolerance is pretty high.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm all right.
With respect to failure, it's terrible, but necessary. If you are going to try something hard, if you're putting yourself out there in some way, there are going to be times where you screw up or you don't succeed. Or there are times where you do everything right and you still don't succeed. But that's not just true of politics or running a non-for-profit. That's true. Some of you talked about being entrepreneurial. If you're starting a clothing line, that's a cutthroat business. You know, I'm sure I have every confidence, Ayana, that you're going to succeed at some point, but you'll go through some failures. You know, and I think that the most important thing, and this is a little bit of a cliche, but sometimes cliches are true, is to learn from those failures and to have a sense of resilience and be able to examine what is it that I did not succeed at, why didn't I succeed, and what do I need to do better. If you're focused on giving of yourself to accomplish something, then even when you fail at a particular objective, you're still succeeding in learning about how you can accomplish those goals.
You think about fear of failure, what it really is an illusion. It doesn't exist. Because even if you fail at something, you still learn something from it. Right? No one could take that experience away from you. So a lot of that is this mental bullshit that we have, that we are so afraid, oh, I don't know, what if it doesn't work, right? That's not a very empowering question, right? What if I don't know, how would people think of me, right? What if I lose money, right? What if my business doesn't take off? Like a lot of what ifs, and the reality is most of those things don't actually happen. It's this programming, this belief that we have, that we don't believe that it's gonna work. And guess what? If you don't believe it's gonna work, what happens? It doesn't work.
I think there's like a thin